Hi, my name is Eric DeVries, dental CPA and founder of ForSaleByDentist.com. In today's video, we're going to be talking about what happens after the letter of intent is signed. So now things get real. You have basically entered into a legal document with the seller, and the two of you are now going to be entering the due diligence phase and are working towards a purchase closing date, which would have been defined in that letter of intent. One of the many things inside that letter of intent would be the closing date. So now it's time to get the banks back involved. Remember, early in the process, you first talked with a bank to figure out what it was you could afford, if the banks would be willing to lend on certain requirements. You got a blanket pre-approval for X dollar amount, which you were able to show the seller that you were committed and wanting to do this deal. Then we kind of went away from the banks for a little bit. And now that we've got the letter of intent, we're going to go back to the banks and get them started. The bank uses the letter of intent as their starting point for the underwriting process, because in that letter of intent, it will outline the purchase price, the closing dates, and any other types of material items that they want to address through their underwriting program. So the reason why you want to start with the banks right away is it takes time, right? So there's been a lot of activity recently, and some of the larger banks are starting to get backed up. We've seen banks taking up to 2 weeks for the actual decision. Now remember, when you got the pre-approval, it was based on you. Now we're taking you, and then we're taking this practice to see if it still works, which it should, because you've done all this prep work beforehand, knowing that what you can do and what you can't do. So when you give them the letter of intent, it should take about 7 business days, 5 to 7 business days for you to get an answer, yes, you're approved. And then it kind of goes through a little bit more of underwriting. It can take up to 2 weeks. After that, to get the purchase agreement, the closing documents, all the necessary items is usually another 2 weeks. So typically, from the time you give the bank all of the paperwork to go through underwriting, now you did not necessarily do that in the beginning, you just got that pre-approval, but now you've got to turn in and submit all of the application pieces. From the time you submit that to the time of closing is usually about 30 days as a rule of thumb without real estate. If we add real estate, it could be another 30 days with the title searches and so forth. And they're really 2 different loans. You're going to have the practice loan and the real estate loan. And if you did, an SBA loan, it could take even longer. But a couple rule of thumbs are 30 days for a dental practice and maybe 60 days if it includes real estate. So just things for you to think about. So you want to get that bank going right away. You want to fill out that paperwork right away. As soon as you get that letter of intent, go back to the bank, call them up, sign the paperwork, get that going so the bank can start moving on that. Now the next piece after the bank financing would be the due diligence. We'll get into that one in just a little bit. But to this one, I just wanted to talk to you about the timing of the bank financing and how really important it is to keep that ball moving. Okay, great. Keeping it short. Eric DeVries, Dental CPA. We're here to help. Good luck.